So you're just taking pictures of the screen, not the back of my head?
Both.
Okay. Do I have a bald spot? We can't look outside because they're doing server maintenance. But for people who haven't looked outside lately, it's pretty nice out. I think they're clouds. But we can make sure about that by looking at the geostationary satellite, which we'll look at in a bit. But the radar from today, this is the most recent radar, just shows kind of interesting flow, stuff from these moving mostly to the west, east of the Mississippi. But when you get west of the Mississippi, we have stuff going almost due north and maybe north-northwest over Wyoming and Montana. So that's kind of setting the stage for an interesting day tomorrow where there might be severe weather in the Panhandle, the high plains of Texas, and maybe some rain and snow along the front range of Colorado as a system dives down, and we'll be taking a look at that. Here in Wisconsin, it's dry. I don't think we're looking for any big precipitation events coming up, and I don't think we're looking at freezing temperatures until sometime next September. That's my bold statement. So here's the satellite imagery for today. The visible imagery showing some cirrus drifting north over Wisconsin. So the main cloud system seems to be breaking in two. So parts heading off to the east over the Ohio Valley and onto the east coast. And there's that part left over the Great Plains that's drifting slowly northward. And you can see a little circulation maybe. You kind of squint your eyes over the central part of the Rocky Mountains. That might be having an influence on the weather tomorrow. Let me take a look at the water vapor then.
The winter storm warning in like Wyoming and that.
Yeah. So I don't know how low that, I don't know how far down in elevation that's getting, the winter storm warning. But certainly with that close circulation, nice transverse waves along the front range of the Rockies here. You might see some along the edges here. So nice jet structure with this system that's sliding to the southeast. Depending on how far south it gets, that's going to influence what kind of weather they have on the front range. But there's a lot of blowing dust yesterday over Nevada and Utah. And usually when that happens in the spring, a couple days later, as that energy goes out onto the plains, you see some kind of thunderstorm action. And you can really see the front range here. Looks like there's a nice darkening here, maybe associated with air that's descending down the front range. That's just a guess.
Looking at a stratospheric intrusion that might impact the surface this afternoon as well in southeastern Colorado.
Okay. So we should look at ozone, if I can find it. If we look at the same thing from goes west, let's see if we can kind of see the same thing. Yep, there is evidence of some strong sinking. Strong poleward flow here into the high plains of Montana, and a really nice circulation here over the mountains. I know that it looks like the North Pacific's kind of quieted down. I haven't looked at the water vapor for a couple weeks. This looks a lot less wintry than it did a couple weeks ago, so I'm happy about that. Okay, let's look at the current conditions. It's, like I've said, it's really nice out here. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh. So pretty low dew points. Chicago yesterday set a record for their lowest relative humidity at O'Hare ever, at 13%. I didn't realize it was that dry out. Didn't seem that dry out here today. The east wind is kicking up here. There are red flag warnings all over the western part or the southwestern part of Wisconsin. So you have the low relative humidity, the modest winds, and if you're throwing lit matches around dry grass, you'll probably have some kind of reaction and some fire. I'm not advocating you to do that. Milwaukee, you'll notice 51, nice, beautiful spring day next to the lake. with wind off the lake there. Let's see, move this around now. Here's an overview. Okay. Let's look up in here. We do have some 4-star snow over. There's a Weather Service forecast office there, and I'm just blanking on the name.
Casper?
No. It starts with an R. So a 4-star snow right there, but not a whole lot accumulating. So showery snow apparently. Here's Casper. So we do have some fairly heavy snow over Wyoming right now. So there's a little oomph to this. Pretty strong winds down in Colorado. 20, a lot of 20 knots. Some of this has a nice upslope component, so slow saturation is going to be occurring. And we'll just expand this out a little bit. See if we can see anything else.
San Diego areas, they're having dew point, the relative humidity there are forecast to be about 3 to 5%.
And yet the dew point's 50.
Santa Ana winds there for that.
Okay, so you do see some very, Blythe, 3, Phoenix, -2, Flagstaff, -9. So super dry air here. So once it gets up over it hasn't come down to the coastal plain yet. But once it penetrates, that's going to be nice Santa Ana. Let's look up to the northeast. It's pretty dry everywhere. Dew points in the teens, all through upstate New York and Pennsylvania. So looks like a beautiful day. 60 sunny skies and 19 in my old stomping grounds. And we'll just drop to the southeast. And there is that precipitation moving through the east coast. So some 4-dot rain in Charlotte and in Georgia. Let's see if they're getting anything. So 1/4 inch in an hour. That's respectable. Upper level winds. You do see the deep trough that's over the Rocky Mountains. This is going to drop a little bit farther south and try to cut off, but I don't think it's going to be there that long. It'll lift up fairly quickly. If we look at the, let's look at 850. So 0 degree at 850 is close to the surface in a lot of these places. But I think the big story of this, except for over the mountains and over the northeast, it's warm. It's pretty much pleasantly warm everywhere. So big high pressure over the lakes. And I'm liking this. So here we have the large scale with the developing low pressure system over the Rockies, linked to one that's up over Canada. Nice high pressure system sliding over Ontario. Still fairly cold up here, 20s, teens. I don't see any single digits, so it's winter is relaxing its grasp. Well, there's a single digit if you get up into northern Quebec. And let's see what's going on. We still have some below 0 in Alaska, but it's still April, so they're probably used to that. I wanted to jump to look at the SIMS here because I want to see if, look at the total column ozone over the US. So we should be able to see a stratospheric. You do see something here. It's relatively higher values surrounding this region of cloudiness. So I don't know how much you want to believe these highest values that might be cloud contaminated, but there's certainly a ozone signature associated with this system that's coming down into the Rockies. If you look at the precipitable water, that's what was up there earlier. Let's animate this one too. 4 frames isn't quite enough. But you will see that the moisture is just to the east of the Front Range here, but it does back up it's backing into the Front Range with time, so some nice moisture advection, not a whole lot of it. This is, you know, around 20 millimeters, so not even an inch, but that's pretty hefty for the high plains. So that is the moisture that the system diving down is going to be able to work with as it develops. Okay, we go to the forecasts. Let me just add some loops here. GFS, we want to go all the way up to 16 days. So I'm just going to quickly go through the, what's this thing called? The NAM. And if I lived in Colorado, of course, the interesting thing is how far south does this system cut off? That's going to be that's what'll be important for where the rain and where the snow is falling. And this one is having the low pressure system down in the Panhandle, and then it exits through Kansas. And if we look at the 36-hour and compare the two here, that's pretty good agreement between the NAM and the GFS, even though the precipitation is a little bit different. The GFS has a little inverted trough pushing up past the Palmar Divide, so maybe that's suggests maybe some lighter precipitation for southern Colorado. But it does look like northern Colorado is going to get a decent amount of precipitation from this. I'm not a good rain snow forecaster for Colorado. You might argue I'm not a good one for Wisconsin either, but I'm especially not good in Colorado. So I don't know if this is going to be rain or snow, but it does look like some well-needed precipitation for the Front Range there. Another thing that's going to be happening tomorrow is along the dry line down here, there's going to be probably a nice, maybe nice isn't the quite word, but a period of severe weather associated with the dry line. And I'll look at the we'll show you the SPC forecast for tomorrow in a bit. So if we step forward through time, if you're looking at Wisconsin, we have the system over Colorado, and then it spits out a little something that gets here by the end of the weekend. So a fairly dry period here, except, wait a minute, what did I miss? Okay, so the rain that's to our south now, maybe there'll be a couple of showers tomorrow, somewhere around the state. I'm not going to forecast it for anything general, though, but just a hit or miss rain shower tomorrow. And then it dries out again as the stuff that's to our south now shifts off to the east, and the system to the west takes hold. But that doesn't really influence us, according to this, until sometime during the weekend. So it looks like Saturday is likely to be the nicer day of the weekend. Sunday is more likely to have rain, but nothing cold, no cold weather. But after the weekend, some colder air comes in. But you know, cold this time of year means probably lows in the upper 30s, highs in the 60s, which is pretty decent. I'd show you those beautiful bar graphs that used to be on the Southland page, but they're not there anymore because of the reorganization of the website. But I believe the normal high temperature now is about 65, I think, and the normal low temperature is up into the mid 40s. So even if we get a little bit below normal, it's still nothing that a plant outside can't handle. Might be complaining, but it'll be able to handle it. And then we have a period of cooler weather through next week. So we have even some 5/18 thickness. So, you know, there could be some flurries up through here. But in Madison, I think the worst we'll get is a low temperature in the 30s. And then we have what looks to be some frontogenesis later in the week next week to our south. So we'll see if that actually, you know, if this cutoff low is enough to keep the cold air entrenched, or if the southern stream can push that cold air out of the way. So this is, I haven't looked at the forecast, the extended forecast, long enough to see how consistent these forecasts are. But it certainly has subcritical thicknesses here through the entire part of next week. So until a week from Thursday, 2 weeks from Thursday, 2 weeks from tomorrow, they have some rain coming. Well, let's not believe that. But the long-term trend is for next week to be cooler than this week. Maybe some rain tomorrow, then fairly nice weather through the end of this week until the weekend, and it looks like Sunday has a better chance of being a poorer day than Saturday. I guess if I were making a forecast, that's what I'd be saying. We don't have to, oh, good, Storm Prediction Center. This has been changed. This used to have a slight risk. I think there was a slight risk over Kansas earlier. That's been reduced in value. But if we look tomorrow, slight risk over much of West Texas with an enhanced region, so not moderate, but better than slight, over, say, within 200 miles of Amarillo. So that has 435,000 people in this enhanced slot of convection. And again, that's mostly going to be dryline convection as some kind of jet rounds the base of the trough, interacts with the dry line. Let's just quickly go to El Nino. Look at the anomalies. So we still have a nice slug of warm anomalies over the dateline at the equator. So I guess an El Nino is still in progress. It doesn't look particularly strong. And the thing that I noticed, anyone will notice there, is that those very warm anomalies between Hawaii and Mexico. So I'm guessing that there'll be a pretty active Eastern Pacific hurricane season this year. That'll start early. That's my long-term tropical prediction.
Okay. I'll hold it to it.
Yeah. TPW. This is a microwave product. It's showing showing a slow moistening of the tropical Western Pacific. This looks pretty extensive, this amount of moisture here in the Central Pacific. Not surprising given that there's an El Nino and we have all these warm temperature anomalies. The Gulf of Mexico looks fairly juicy, so this system that's coming down, it doesn't have to go very far to tap a lot of moisture. There's not a whole lot of evidence that it's tapping this right now, but within 24 hours, maybe some of this moisture will be helping to feed the thunderstorms that are forming along the dry line. As I said, red flag warning with the strong winds and the low humidities today. So I'm guessing outdoor burning is strongly discouraged. And now I will see if I can remember. What do I run here?
You go to Nestus HMS, Nestus space HMS. Google it.
Nestus. What's HMS stand for?
Hazard mapping system.
His Majesty's.
Click on that top.
So is this the smoke from yesterday?
Yeah, but go slide down a little bit and do
this one?
6 months. The archive right below Nestus products.
Archive fire products. This one?
Yeah, a few clicks. What HMS instead of none? What fire product? No. HMS. What format? Graphic. And then last 2 days.
What's it going to show us?
Submit. It's going to show fires all over Kansas. Do the 14th.
This one.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh man.
Lots of fires.
Wow.
The fires in Kansas, that's the Flint Hills grasslands. That's been burning for more than 2 weeks. That's rangeland burning. And then fires in the Dakotas have fired up in the last 2 days. And you can see all sorts of, other fires, Minneapolis area, etc.
So what are these?
Those are analyzed smoke plumes. So
Okay.
those are, the red are satellite fire detections. The white are operator analyzed smoke plumes.
So if we look at a visible image, will we be able to see this, or is the sun angle too high right now?
They are using visible images at low sun angles to diagnose them, but I can't see a lot of smoke right now. But the key is in the Midwest, there's a whole lot of agricultural burning going on. It has been.
So it's mostly agricultural, and it hasn't been. Is this a typical fire scenario for mid-April?
The Flint Hills is, yes. They
Okay.
burn that. They'll burn that every year.
Let's go to the visible and see what we see what we
I don't think you'll
have.
see very much.
Yeah,
You really don't see very much.
we'd have to look at something from 12Z, and it's gone. Okay. I can't
Lots
remember.
of fires in the red flag warning now.
In the warning now for Wisconsin.
Right.
Okay, I did not know that. So I'm trying to remember. Do I run flare? No, flare is
Not flare. I think you just go down to the windows down there and see if it comes.
buff kit.
All program. Oh, yeah, buff kit and buff get. Might need to get data. Is that today?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's a week ago. Get profile.
Oops, I don't want to do it again. It should just load up, right?
Oh, there it is. Probably shipped it over because last time they were doing it, they shifted it. So that could be seen on the camera. You can, I don't know if you can click on the one side on the arrow down in the bottom or something, or I don't know how you do it. Oh, there you go. And if you go to the other side, I think you can.
Whoa.
Otherwise, there you go.
Okay.
Something like that.
I didn't know. Oops, I didn't know you could do that with. I guess 20 is about what we need. Okay.
Yeah, close enough.
So we'll just zip through this pretty quickly because really not a whole lot is going on here. It's very dry. So this is not saying much at all about precipitation. Maybe Thursday we get a little moistening, and then it dries out again. We're going to run this right through to the weekend. Light winds. Friday looks like a nice day. So nice light winds, low 70s. Okay, let's take the afternoon off. Maybe some.
70s. Mid-70s?
Look at that. Mid 70s. And then spits out some precipitation on Saturday in direct conflict with what I said. And I said Sunday would be the worst of the 2 days, but this is saying precipitation on Saturday as well, and it doesn't go out to Sunday. So let's just look at the GFS.
Pull it back.
Yeah, we'll start on. So look how dry that is.
Yeah, that's right.
That is a dry.
Wow.
That's pretty dry for here. So we have a nice strong east wind. If you're going to, are the brewers in town? They probably have the dome shut. But with a very strong east wind through Thursday morning, then it's shifting around to south. But again, dry. this is also saying that Friday is going to be looking really nice. So very light winds at the surface, and temperatures in the low 70s, maybe some high clouds. And then we go to Saturday. So that Saturday wasn't bad. And now we get to Sunday. Sunday looks a little bit more chancy for rain. So do you believe the GFS? Saturday's a nice day, and Sunday's more likely to have precipitation. The NAM right now is saying Saturday is the worst day. So differences in timing of that system over the high plains. So the NAM is bringing it in too soon, I'm guessing, or sooner than the GFS is bringing it in. And then after this, we have a period of cooler weather. So we have temperatures, mid-30s on Tuesday morning, next Tuesday morning.
Strong winds.
Yeah. So breezy and cool. Temperatures in the
32.
Next Wednesday.
Not pleasant.
We have very cold temperatures, down around freezing. So again, next week is going to be much cooler than this week. So because it's going to be so nice on Friday, everybody go outside. Take the day off on Friday because it'll be so nice. I'll turn. Oh, okay, that's all. Thanks, John. John, you should come out in front of the camera.
Hey, John.
Because you're the one expediting this, or just told your friends, say hi. This is John.
Hello.
Hello. Well, thank you, Scott. Thank you, John.
So people who didn't walk down here to see this, you can send John a donut or something.
A donut burger, like
Yeah.
A big burger. Yeah.
They had them today.
A donut burger?
Yeah. I show you a picture if you want to see it.
Now, do they